Hi, I'm Eva Murphy from Electronic Engineering at IT Sligo, and this is my Leaving Cert Maths Grinds channel. I'll regularly add new videos for both higher and ordinary level maths, so make sure you subscribe below and click the bell icon to be notified of new videos. The 2014 sample paper. Two complex numbers, u is equal to 3 plus 2i and v is equal to minus 1 plus i, where I squared is minus 1. Okay, that's in every question. Given that w is equal to u minus v minus 2, evaluate w. Okay, so w is equal to u minus v minus 2. Okay, so instead of u, I'm putting in 3 plus 2i. Okay, I have a minus here. Let's put him in. Instead of v, let's change color so you can see each bit that I'm doing. Instead of v, I'm putting in minus 1 plus I, okay? And it's minus all of this complex number. So because it's got two parts to it, put it in a bracket to protect yourself, okay? Now don't forget the minus 2 at the end. Okay, so I've just changed color for the V so that you can see all the different parts of it. Okay, don't forget this little minus that's here. Okay, you can confuse it with this one, and don't forget the minus 2. Okay, now one thing I want to show you is how do you know when you need to subtract them, and how do you know when you need to multiply them? Okay, so if this was a multiply, okay, and this goes for algebra or complex numbers, it would look like this. Okay, or as I call it, bracket, 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 bracket. Okay, brackets are maths language for multiply. That in effect is the same as 2 by 3. Okay, I could also use a dot. That is maths language for multiply. Okay, all of them gets used for multiplying. Okay, this isn't multiplying, this is adding and subtracting simply because of that minus that lies in the middle here. Okay, this one would have been u by v minus 2 if it was multiplying. But this very sign that hangs in the middle of it means we're subtracting. We are not multiplying. Okay, so these ones can be easy and they can throw students because they're looking for something harder than what it is. So 3 plus 2i, now minus, okay? So just read it for yourself, minus, minus, and minus, minus is a plus 1. Minus, plus, when the signs are different, it's a minus, okay? When the signs are the same, it's a plus. When the signs are different, it's a minus. And don't forget the minus 2, okay? And if you want, put your R's under your real parts and put your imaginaries, your I's under your imaginaries if you wish, okay? If that helps you group them together. So reals to reals, 3 plus 1 is 4, minus 2 is 2. And then for my imaginaries, I have 2i minus I, which is plus I. So I am getting 2 plus I for my W. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Plot U, V, and W on an argand diagram. So U was 3 plus 2i. I'm just writing them off here to the right. V was minus 1 plus I. And W was 2 plus I, if I remember right. Okay, so let's plot them. So let's plot U, so 3. So again, real, imaginary, real, imaginary, real, imaginary, okay? And remember, you are well used to plotting x comma y, complex numbers. I nearly wrote it backwards, look at that. Real, comma, imaginary, okay? So it's 3 on your real axis, which is your old traditional x-axis, and it's 2i on your imaginary axis, which is your old traditional y-axis. So 3 on my real axis, up to 2 on my imaginary axis. Okay, so that's u. V, minus 1 plus I. So that's my V. And then W, 2 plus I. So there's my W. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Make sure you label them. You lose a significant amount of marks if they're not labeled. Okay, and the next thing they're examining division. Okay, so you can see the pattern. So we have to do some sort of computation, which means add and subtract and multiplication, division. Plotting is becoming very normal in a question. And then division is becoming very normal in a question. What wasn't in this one was the modulus, okay? So be it. So 2u plus v, okay? So I have to resolve the top line before I can divide by w. So let's work out what is 2u plus v, okay? So that means multiply u by 2. So instead of u, I'm putting in 3 plus 2i. And I'm adding to that v minus 1 plus I. Okay, and you can put it in a bracket for yourself if you want. So it's just a plus because that lies in between them. So 2 3s, 6, 2 by 2i, 2 2s are 4i, plus minus 1, so signs are different, so it's a minus, plus plus, signs are the same, so it's a plus. Okay, so always as before, real, 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 imaginary. Real imaginary, I should say. So 6 minus 1 is 5, 4i and I is 5i. So I got 5 plus 5i for 2u plus v. Okay, so now I can write this division here as 5 plus, I'm going to write it in blue just so we can see the difference between the two halves of the questions. 5 plus 5i, and I need to divide it by w, so 2 plus I. Okay, so the rules of complex numbers, you are not allowed to divide by an imaginary number. So I need to basically cancel the imaginary parts and force my bottom to be a real part. How you do that is you multiply it by the conjugate of the bottom. In other words, you change the sign of the imaginary part. And what you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. Okay, so now this is multiplying because there's no signs in the middle. So it's 5 by everything in the second bracket. Okay, and the same as if I was to multiply x and y's in algebra. 5i by everything in the second bracket. Over 2 by everything in the second bracket plus I by everything in the second bracket. Okay, and then let's multiply it out. 5 2s are 10 minus 5i plus 10i plus by minus is a minus 5i squared. And on the bottom, 2 2s are 4 minus 2i plus 2i plus by minus is a minus I squared. Of course, these cancel. And my next job is I'm going to sub in that minus 1 for an I squared. You never leave I squareds in a question. So on the top, I have 10. Let's tidy these up. Minus 5 plus 10, or 10 minus 5 is 5i. And then I have minus 5 times minus 1. And on the bottom, I have 4 minus minus 1. So these minus 1s I have in brackets here are my I squareds. I've subbed in my minus 1. So minus 5 by minus 1 will be a plus 5. So 10 plus 5 will give me 15, plus that 5i on the top. And on the bottom, 4 minus minus is a plus. So 4 plus 1 is 5. And the last job, break it into its reals, break it into its imaginaries. And when it divides in nicely, like this one does, divide it in. So 15 over 5 is 3. 5 over 5 is 1i, okay, or simply I. So the answer for that one, 3 plus I.
If you are interested in technology or engineering, but are not doing higher level maths, why not consider our Level 7 in Electronic and Computer Engineering? This is a 3-year programme that looks at the design and development of embedded electronic systems. These are the medical devices that keeps us healthy, the consumer devices that keeps us entertained, or the controlled systems that keeps us safe on the road. You can then progress on to the Level 8 in Electronics and Self-Driving Technologies, and from there to the Masters.
Check out the link below for more information.